Hey everybody, welcome back to another awesome day in crypto. As we always say, man, we've got a special session today. We're going to be covering Element 280, Helios, and Janus, which is going to be pretty fun on Ethereum and Pulsechain, so it's going to be really cool. We've got the dude, which I think is one of the smartest guys out there, and so I hope you guys get a lot of insights from him when we bring him up. So get in the chat there. Get your questions out around any of these projects, Janus, Helios, or Element 280. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So jump in there, folks. And I posted a lot of the handles in there. So if you want to follow on X, definitely get on there. This is going to be a big project. You don't want to miss out on this. And, do your due diligence, all that good stuff. You can also find lots of information there in the chat as well. Without further ado, let's bring on the dude, and good to have you in the house. So let's bring him on. Bam! Hey, dude. Good to see you.
Hey there. Thanks for having me. That was quite the intro.
Yeah. I hope you appreciate the background as well. We got the old Element 280, the periodic table of Titan projects. It looks pretty badass.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
It's such a good theme set up for us, especially the nerds out there. It's really geeky, so we love it.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. We got Brendan in the house. Good to see you, Brendan. Hey, look, I thought we would probably kick off just a little bit about yourself, a little bit of background about your team, and how you got into Titan.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I got into crypto in like 2018. Came across Titan just from a friend saying, "Hey, you should check this out. You should start a couple of miners and see how it goes." And started a few miners on like around day 50 or so, and immediately started really looking into how it all works, and just Titan. I just really loved the tokenomics of how it all comes together, and just felt like this was the right platform to build on. And here we are, about to launch my third project on Titan, and just having a blast. Yeah.
No, it's awesome, man. Hey, look, I've been following you. I'm obviously very impressed with what I've seen, and I think there's a lot of value to be, got from your projects, both on Titan, and of course the links to Pulsechain. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. Now, you guys have already got one project out already, which is Helios, and I thought we'd probably start off with that. So we might just pull that website up and let's check it out. And we can also paste the websites in the link there. So if you want to get hold of that. Helios, that is the one to get onto there. So Helios and Janus website, that is the link there, app.helios.win, if you want to check out the site. So let's jump over to, I think the website here is right here. Can you give us a bit of a run through of what this is all about within the Titan ecosystem?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a mining protocol very similar to Titan with the twist that we have on everything is our treasuries that continuously burn HLX. So when you're mining when you mine HLX, your Titan that you use to mine is going into our treasury.
Right.
Yep. And
that's the mine page, and it goes into the treasury. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then so see, we've got 814 billion Titan staked, and that's locked forever. Always just earning ETH for us. And as you can see, we've got, about 110 ETH coming our way, estimated. So majority of that will go towards our buy and burn, but some of that goes towards our stakers, and then also our investment pool, which we use to expand on additional treasuries.
Okay.
So yeah, you can see the Wonderland Treasury. This is the second one we started, and this was in partnership with Janus. We can kind of go over.
Yeah, Janus is the product up here, right? That's Janus. So we'll come back to that. Yeah. And so in the treasury here, this wonderful Wonderland. So I just want to say something about the Wonderland here. I think the theme of this is fantastic. So Wonderland Treasury, Red Cat, Mad, Wonderland, White Rabbit. I think that's a great pulse there.
Yeah, we like it a lot. I think it's a very new project, and it's done by another founder within the Titan ecosystem. This is on Pulsechain, so this is a series of reflection tokens that earn you additional tokens and Pulse. So we're utilizing it to earn pulse, and then we use that pulse to buy and burn our Janus token.
Right.
So
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah,
So
it's
should
a
we
nice
jump over?
partnership.
So that's so basically on over here on Helios, you can mine Helios, and
Which
yep.
And then there's the staking as well, which if you go to like the reward pools, you can kind of see the next tab over. You can see the payouts that we've got going on currently in our 420-day pool. Was that 615 billion Titanx looking to pay out?
Yeah.
What's the value of that going to be 217 days from now?
Absolutely.
That'll be interesting. Yeah.
As the whole system is lifting up too. So, and Titanx. Do you have a calculator on here? Oh, you do. You got a calculator so people can work out what their mining yield might be and their Helios staking might be with the different payouts that are coming up.
Yeah.
So people can play around with those. So you got mining.
Sorry. Yeah. This is on day 202. So we're not new. We were the third project to launch on Titanx. So we've been around for a while, and this is the core project that our other projects like Janus and Element 280 they're going to be supporting Helios directly.
Right. Okay. You've also got a stats page here. And how are you feeling about these numbers so far?
Oh, I'd say pretty good. When you look at like the supply, there's 460 billion HLX in liquid. It's not very much in my eyes, especially with the 70 plus ETH that we're getting on the Titanx payout coming in, what about 5 weeks or so?
Yeah.
It's going to be massive, I think, for the ecosystem. And then also Element 280, like I feel like our supply is like in this perfect ratio where with these next with Element 280 and the 369 payout coming, I think we could see a lot of action.
Right. Okay, cool. So this is some of the Pumpamentals for it. And the liquid supply, I mean, it's a lot lower than some of the other projects out there in terms of availability. Like, what's Hyper at the moment, about just over 1 trillion or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say most of these others are in the trillions. So not even having a single trillion is to me pretty low supply.
Yeah. And you've got those bullish rewards coming up and the 369. Yeah. And of course the treasury is a big deal. So what's your plans for the treasury? How does this all work?
So the Titanx treasury, that's locked in place. There's I mean, that's just going to be there forever, earning ETH for us.
Okay.
And then once we get the 369 payout, 20% of what we get in ETH from that Titanx treasury goes into our investment pool. And that tab on the right side, I added all those tokens in preparation of Element 280, which there's actually going to be a lot more tokens there.
That's exciting.
So on 369, we're going to have several ETH in our investment pool that we can use towards whatever the community feels is the best. Somehow we'll build another treasury off of that ETH.
So this top one in the investment pool is about to get big, right? So
20% of like 200K. So what is that, about 40K?
And so you've got 240K. Okay, that's really cool. And a lot of these other ones here are just getting ready for Element 280, so they're going to start filling up as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
I think that's going to be like a big wow factor. I think people aren't really realizing what Element 280 is going to do for Helios. The project itself is amazing, but then when they come to this page and then they see that our DAO has all of the tokens in the ecosystem for our use, I think that'll wake a lot of people up and what we're doing.
Yeah. Just looking at it now, it's just like, lights going on. It's a really, really exciting. Yeah. So huge. So you got mining, staking, obviously people get rewards. You got the treasury going to be building up, about to go next level with the Element 280. It's basically a bit of a summary there. and you got the staker payouts, the 369 payout. So it's all going to start filling up with the element 280. All right, and you got the Wonderland Treasury on Pulsechain, which is going to feed into Janus. Now you've also got this, before we move on to Janus with the Wonderland Treasury, you got the governance page. How's that playing out?
Exactly as I had hoped. We've been able to make adjustments to, like the buy and burn settings. And this will be what we use for, deciding, we'll build a strategy on what we want to do with our ETH and building this next treasury, and then we can put it to vote. And I feel like the community is very happy to interact with it. And I think that with them having a say, it makes you feel like you're more a part of the project than it just kind of happening on its own. So,
okay.
And we've got it set to where whether you're holding liquid HLX or you're mining or you're staking, all of those things add value to your vote. So like the more you have, the larger voting power you have.
Right.
So,
all right. So the more you get in bigger bags you get, the more voting power.
Yeah.
We got a few comments in the chat before we get into this the related project Janus, which is on Pulsechain. MBS in the house. Good to see you, MBS. Hope you're doing well. Wookie is here and only the second smartest guy in here today. Very nice, modest guy. We got Brendan in the house there. Punky from TOB is the other project tied in. Do you have any illumination on that comment?
Yeah, it's Titans of Battle that he's talking about. And Punky is who created the Wonderland. We talk a lot, and especially with our partnerships, we can kind of go into that when we go into Janus.
Okay, cool. For Wonderland, says Brennan. Yeah, looks like Brennan's involved in that. Hexcavator's in the house. Hey, gang. Good to see Hexcavator. Hey, guys. Big shout out to you, Wookie. Good to see you in the chat there as well. Future Forward caught the live. You did indeed. So tell your friends. Tell your friends out there. Good to see you in the chat, by the way. Don't forget to subscribe on the way in. And, of course, to follow if you're not already following Element 280. Helios, definitely give him a follow on the socials, which are pinned at the top, I believe. So get there. All right, let's get into Janus. I'm very excited about Janus. Obviously, Helios is looking really good, and the future roadmap's looking good. Janus is playing a role in that. So let's jump into that and click on here. So if you're looking for Janus, just at the top menu there, let me just make this a little bit bigger, actually. And we'll go to Janus, and this is Janus. So walk us through this a little bit.
Sure. Just like an overview. So this is where you would go if you wanted to mint some Janus. And to do that, you have to burn HLX. So
basically, you have to burn Helios token. Yeah.
Yeah, which is there's two primary ways that Janus is supporting Helios. This is one of them, by burning it. Obviously that everybody knows what burning HLX does. It's good for the ecosystem. As you can see right now, and it also requires a pulse fee. We use that to build our treasuries as well.
Nice.
But if you notice, though, it's minus 15% ROI, which means like it wouldn't make sense for you to mint any Janus right now. It's like negative ROI and Titanx. Like, why you don't want to mine it? You would just go buy it off the market. Wow. So this would be the same way. But as so our Janus is an arbitrage token. I'm sure you're familiar with like PTGC, Tropa, those type of tokens. It's got a liquidity web. We've got about 40 LPs.
Let's expand. So it's got 40 LPs. Everyone knows, follows Pulsechain here. PTGC is doing a great job with that. Tropa's obviously been very popular. So this is another opportunity in this space, but I think it's got a bit more dimension to it, related to that treasury as well, the Wonderland treasury. Right,
because we have a buy and burn on top of that as well. So
right,
it accrues value through the arbitrage, the bots buying and selling it, but there's also a buy and burn, which the pulse fee that when you're minting, a big portion of that pulse fee is going to our buy and burn as well.
Okay. Now, you've got this on the right side, a liquidity promotion pool. So you can put in different things like that. I see there's got different tokens in here, PulseX, I don't know, Pulse. So what happens with this with the LP? You're actually contributing, and how does it work?
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like a single-sided LP setup where you don't have to have any Janus. You don't have to understand how LPs work or anything like that. You just bring your favorite token to the table, and then we match it with Janus, and then we'll create that LP for you. And that's when you do that, you're adding liquidity, and more liquidity equals more arbitrage plays and more taxes being paid. So it's helping the ecosystem, but at the same time, you're earning trading fees on all of that.
Okay.
And then
so you provide the liquidity, you help the general arbitrage, and you earn fees that way. It helps the Wonderland protocol, and also helps yourself in fees. And you earn Janus by providing the liquidity through here.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So if you did PulseX, you would be earning PulseX and Janus through that.
Okay.
And then also, so when the LP is created, it, so if you put $100 of PulseX in there, it matches it with $100 worth of Janus, and then creates that LP, and you own the LP 50-50 with the DAO. So if you, and there's no lockup or anything like that. So if you, the second you want to, pull out, you can on your LP. And the longer you hold your LP, the higher percentage of that LP you earn. So it starts at 50-50, but every month it goes up an additional percent. So then it would go to 51%, 49, 52, 48.
Yeah.
So there's approximately, I want to say about $400,000 worth of Janus in this LP promo that's up for grabs. So there's quite a bit available for people that want to contribute to liquidity before that runs out.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So that's helping to feed, as we said earlier, the treasury here in the Wonderland, which is on Pulsechain there. Yeah. All right. Cool. And Janus, there's a couple other questions I was going to ask. This is basically on Pulsechain, so people can participate today in Janus's trading on Pulsechain.
Exactly. Yeah, and you have to bridge your HLX over to Pulsechain to be able to burn it for minting Janus.
Right, and the other thing is your team's also. I don't know if it's only one of two teams, or your team's also, you've bridged over TitanX and things like that over to Pulsechain, so you've got those LPs over here as well.
Yeah. With Janus, there's TitanX, DragonX, HLX.
Tradable on Pulsechain, right?
Exactly.
That's really
I think
cool.
we're adding Blaze soon.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
and if there's ever any,
everyone out there's loving this connection between TitanX ecosystem on Ethereum and on Pulsechain, and the dude here has come along with Janus to offer this opportunity where people can get into a PDC type arbitrage protocol, provide LP, get those rewards, and just really win. And the last thing I was going to say is the price of Pulsechain's down near the bottoms here, or we think it's near the bottoms. I can guess if you're adding all this LP into this, you're earning all these ARB fees, you're getting all these extra rewards of Janus and all the related treasuries. And then as the price goes up, this thing should be an asset bonanza. Is that the way to look at it?
Yeah, absolutely. That was exactly what I was going to point out, is the whole Pulsechain ecosystem has just been completely bearish for how many months now? Like, keep saying, is this the bottom? Is this the bottom? So I feel like Janus is another one of these projects that, like, people may not see the full value of it mainly because Pulsechain hasn't been performing like we expect it to, and hopefully Richard Hart, beats the case. And
a week ago we were getting 5 to 7 million in volume on Pulsechain. I think when we had the rally in the last week, we got to like 10 to 25 million on the range. So I mean, that just shows you it can turn around pretty fast. And the other thing is, we've got a couple of catalysts. Maybe the Sun AG will bring over the 20 mil for the LP pools. Maybe they will in a couple of weeks. We'll see. Maybe the ETH eventually, once ETH gets into a rally, maybe once it becomes positive, we might get that coming in. There's lots of different variables coming into play. And so this is actually pretty early. It's kind of like the right time to get into a project like Janus on Pulsechain, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
Mm.
And same with Wonderland. So like the way that the partnership works with between Janus and Wonderland is the pulse that we're earning from Janus, we half of it, we split it 50-50. Half of it just goes into the Janus buy and burn, and then the other half goes into buying Wonderland tokens.
Okay.
And so we're constantly building our Wonderland treasury, which, you know, as that gets bigger and bigger, we're earning more and more pulse from that. And then the pulse from Wonderland is also going to the Janus buy and burn. So
right. Just all strengthens the whole system. I love it. Now, there's a couple of things down the bottom here. There's the Ethereum and Pulsechain bridge, so people can use that, right? If they want a bridge over to Pulsechain, some of their Ethereum assets, etc. You've also got more information on Janus and why its benefits. So if people want to read more, there's a documentation down the bottom there. And then you've also got the smart contracts for the tokens here down here. Janus that's the one there if you want to buy it on Pulsechain. Is that the Pulsechain one? Yeah, Janus on Pulsechain. So if people want to buy that, they can do that. Obviously, that's cheaper than minting at the moment. We worked out by 15% or something. Helios is there as well, and we got the Helios buy and burn, the Janus buy and burn there, and you got Helios on Pulsechain as well, so they can pick that up as well, and on Ethereum. Now, this also you've got so not only is this looking awesome, and this kind of what I would call it a medium-term play, but you probably want to get in early, right, to get all the upside, to maximize the upside potential. But you've also got element 280 coming along, so that's going to help feed, as we talked about, the treasury here. Mm-hmm. Is that a good time to pivot into that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Before we do that, let's load a few people. So we're going to get onto the third project, Element 280, which I'm very excited for. Let's see who else has jumped in here. We've got Charity in the house there. Hey, friends, is it time yet? It is time. We're here. Does minting Janus give you a position in all LP pools?
No, just only with the token you bring. So if you bring Pulse, then it's just the Janus Pulse LP. So just that specific LP or token that you bring. Yeah.
Okay. We've got Rich Lander in the house there. Hello, Rich. Good to see you. And is the LP manual or bots, says Brennan?
I'm not sure what he means there. Like the LP promo is a smart contract. So if you're interacting with that LP promo, you're interacting with the smart contract. It's creating the LP and holding it.
Maybe he's talking about the arbitrage side of it.
Yeah,
arbitrage operations operating.
I would say bots. But, it's amazing to me. I've noticed with Pulsechain, the arbitrage bots are super fast, super on point. Like the second I create an LP, within 20 seconds, bots are buying and selling it. It's amazing to see.
Yeah. I remember. Do you know Dipcatcher? Yeah, you would do. For Maximus products, Hex derivative products. He did analysis on the bots some time back, and it was the scale of it was humongous, like as a percentage of total volume on Pulsechain and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they'll do it for pennies of profit. They're buying and selling. And if you go to like the Janus holder page, and you can see like out of the top 50, like 35 of them are all LPs. So it's not like there's a bunch of whales holding this token. It's all mostly already out there. It's just the bots, they don't hold Janus. They buy it and then immediately sell it on another LP. They take their couple of pennies of profit. They pay the buy sell tax. They put Pulse in our treasury and they move on. So it works perfect. Yeah.
We got Rooted in the house is loving this new website, dude.
Thank you.
Future Forward says would be great to hear dude's broader idea on the power of tax reflection tokens. Truthfully, we haven't seen a full cycle with tax tokens yet. See the possibilities, but what are your thoughts?
Well, obviously, I like them because I built Janus. If I didn't think the LP web worked, I don't think I would have gone with it. But yeah, like I launched it on Pulsechain first because I had the vision of doing something multi-chain as well. But I just wanted to like experiment with it all on one chain first, and I'm liking the results that it's bringing in. So I think it's got a lot of potential.
Yep. Brennan says Janus is a mega leverage play.
On Pulsechain mostly.
Pulsechain, yeah.
Yeah.
Brennan says Helios is well undervalued based on this mechanism. We got Titan X Tobator in the house there. Gotta love that name. We got one can't have everything on the Titan X ecosystem, but now you can with Element 280. The dude is brilliant. Absolutely. Yeah. And we got Wookie in the house there. What do you think is the main risk vector with Janus?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not sure. Like, it's volume based. So if there's not a lot of volatility in the markets, there's not a whole lot of arbitrage plays going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really see like there's a risk in that. It's just, it's not going to be accumulating a whole lot of fees during low volume days. That's really all I could think of. Is it's highly dependent on liquidity and volume. So
All right, that's a good answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Without further ado, get your questions in, folks. We're going to get into the next project, which is going to be one of the big DeFi infrastructures, I think, for Titan X ecosystem, and of course, the Helios there. So let's get into it. And that is Element 280. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
So give us a bit of just a quick overview of this before we deep dive into a bit more detail.
Sure. It's a NFT collection and a token. And the NFTs are actually backed by this token as well. But it's aimed to be like this one-stop shop for anybody that's wanting to get into the Titan X ecosystem. Basically, holding E280 tokens would be like having a piece of every project in the ecosystem. We really wanted this to be like the easy button, especially with like when you go to Titan X Hub and you see 20 plus projects on the list. It can get very overwhelming very fast for new people. So that's why we wanted to create this. I think it's a brilliant solution to the issue we've got here. It's not really an issue.
Basically, people can, let's put a bit of context around this because Jake Sharp, of course, the founder of Titan X, basically says that if you're overwhelmed by all the projects building on Titan X, then just buy Titan X when you come in. But now what you're doing is you're offering a solution for people that come in. Maybe they may be savvy on crypto or they may not be, but they want to get involved. But now you're offering, well, no, there's not just the option of picking up Titan X. If you don't know about all these other projects, you can just come in the E280 and Element 280, get an NFT, and you can have a bit of all those projects. And that's kind of the offer you're offering to new people.
Yep, and if you don't like NFTs, you don't have to deal with that at all. We try to make this as broad as possible, so you can mint just the tokens itself. Because I figure lots of people don't really care for NFTs. To me, it's a big part of what Element 280 is, but you don't have to do that. And then also you can mint with Ethereum, so you don't even need Titan X in this. You can just show up, bring your ETH, and the smart contract does the rest.
Yeah, so let's pull on that point. That's something that you've been pushing to other people in the Titan X ecosystem with all projects, is the fact that give the people the options. They just don't have to use Titan X, they can use Ethereum, and that will flush through the system as well. So is the mechanism to use the ETH to buy Titan X, is that the way that does that with that step?
Yeah, it's buying ETH. It's buying Titan X off the market when you do that.
You just give an easy option. People can, I've got ETH, so I want to get in, and they can just use that. And you just do all that mechanics behind in the background.
Exactly. It eliminates that extra step for the user.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Now, this is the list. This is Mike Dean. So Mike Dean's kind of the number one data guy, well, one of two guys that I know of in the Titan X ecosystem. And he's got a list of projects here on titanxhub.com. And he shows you a lot of the projects that are building on top of Titan X, which you can see at the top there. Titan X is kind of like the medium of exchange, and then you've got all these different leverage players and stores of value projects jumping on tops. And now, of course, with projects like Element 280, you got DeFi projects coming in, which is perfect timing. But you can see a big fine list of projects here. And Element 280 can give you a bit of a chunk of all of them, or almost all of them. which we can see in the website at the moment. So you got a list of the ones that are currently eligible. Do you want to talk a bit about that?
Yeah, we started to set percentages and figure it all out, and then we realized, oh well, we're just gonna have to redo it when like Hydra's launch is imminent. I know Pulsar is soon. Flux, Volt. A lot of these projects aren't out yet, but they should be in the next couple of weeks.
4 to 6 weeks, right? Most of these will be out, right? So
yeah.
Now, obviously, yeah, go.
I was just we're setting our launch for early October, so it's basically if your project is launched before ours, we will include it, and we will do a percentage allocation to all these projects, kind of last minute, just to make sure we include everybody that we can in that.
Now I know that Eric from DragonX likes to talk about the core 4, which is TitanX, Hyper, Hydra, and DragonX. Is that something? Are you going to have a weighting towards those 4 core? Because he's been talking about market cap being maybe 80% of total market cap of TitanX ecosystem projects. Is that something the way you might be looking at it, or do you want to show love to some of these other cool projects like Inferno and others?
You can't blame Eric for saying that his own projects are part of the core, but you can't deny market cap for sure. Like DragonX will absolutely get a decent share of that. And then if you look at there's Baby DragonX. Now, for us to include Baby DragonX, we have to buy DragonX to get there. So there's going to be additional buy pressure even through Baby DragonX. There's still buy pressure on DragonX on that as well. So we'll take that into account as far as each ecosystem, because Blaze has got Inferno and Flux. That'd be another situation where
this is what we're hearing, right? So we're hearing that DragonX might have half a dozen projects at the moment. I mean, it's not talking about future builds. At the moment, half a dozen on DragonX. Then they're hearing that now that Inferno, which is really another store of value project like DragonX, is going to have half a dozen to 8 projects as well. So that's an interesting choice for you as someone that's providing a sort of an index fund or a share of. That's not quite the word, like a share of this portfolio, right? So it's some interesting choices for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's really like I said, we want to include them all. It's just a matter of the percentages that we want to set to allocate on each one. And we'll definitely have higher percentages on the, if you go to TitanX Hub, the top 4 or 5 projects, those are going to get a higher percentage than a lot of the other ones, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and that's got Helios in there, so and look, by the time you launch in early, I think I got on here on the roadmap, so let's just go to TitanX, go full screen on this and have a look at the roadmap that I've got. So we've got obviously Hydra coming to launch. We're going to have Flux after that. We're going to have Volt and Pulsar potentially. Ouroboros, question mark, and then Titan Farms coming up, and then Element 280, right? I've got that in the first half of October at the moment. So, I mean, by the time you get to the end of September, you've got a couple of projects, Hydra, Volt, maybe half a dozen projects potentially launching. Probably a good chance that 3 of them will be out there. Then you've got potentially some re-rating in some of the like Inferno and things like that. So you're going to have very different market caps by the time we get to the beginning of October. You got any thoughts about how you might think about that?
That's, you made the perfect point. There's no reason in trying to set allocations today because everything's going to be looking completely different in 3 weeks from now. So, and it's not like we're editing any of the logic or, the auditing and all that stuff is still going to be legit. It's just changing the percent allocation variable.
We've got it might be 35 projects out there at the moment, either on the concept board through to development phase through to all imminent launches. We've got projects Lotus, Flare, Alien X, Awesome X. I mean, there's so much stuff coming down the pipeline. They're not even on the TitanX Hub yet. So is it something that once you set in that you're going to have a certain number of projects, and so you'll have a certain amount of projects or can you add in? Is the contract such that you can add in new projects and shift the allocations? How does that? Is it kind of dynamic?
We've decided to keep it static. So this is all what's coming in from mints is going to be the Titanx from minting is going as the allocations for all these projects. But we've decided it would be more simple of a solution to, after the fact, we can create a V2 buy and burn just like Titanx did. And then with the V2 buy and burn, we can include new projects with that.
Okay.
So as we're burning tokens, we can always add down the line. So we just thought we'd keep it like with the core initial tokens, and then we can probably do a round 2, later on.
Okay, that sounds good. Now, let's just quickly go through the website here, just briefly. People can obviously, check that out in full, because I think I've got the link up here at the beginning on the 280. So that's the link there. You guys can get access to that at the top of the chat there. But basically, the minting phase for E280, it's going to launch first half of October. Is that fair?
Yeah. I think it's going to overlap with the 369 payout just a little. So if you got stakes and you got ETH coming, you'll be able to catch the mid phase.
So it could launch in time here, but the launch phase is going to run through to end of October. So the 369 out here. Yeah.
So maybe like the first week of October, that would that would put us probably in there. We'll see, but that's kind of what we're aiming for.
So after the mints finishes, that's when you obviously will have the funds, and that's when you could be allocating it at the beginning of November. Is that the?
No, the buy and burn is going to be running during the mint. So as soon as minting starts, we'll create all the LPs, all 14 of them or however many we've got.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, so that's okay.
Yeah, we'll create the LPs, and then we'll immediately start throwing Titanx into all of those burn pools.
Okay.
And
so on this page, burn, baby, burn.
Yeah, so this is we can go over this real quick. So 100%, I just want to point out, like 100% of the Titanx that's coming in is going to buy ecosystem tokens.
Okay.
And then after we make the ecosystem, so we'll just, HLX, for example, we will have a cap per swap, so say 1 billion Titanx every 1 hour. You can click that burn button. And then when you do that, it'll take the billion Titanx and buy HLX with it. And then 10% of that is going to, or 6% is going to Genesis, 4% to the Helios treasury. So this is how our Helios treasury is going to be accumulating all of
that stuff there is going to go over to the treasury here.
Perfect, right there on the right side. Yeah,
on the right side.
So,
the investment pool, right.
Yeah. And it'll be up to the community what we want to do with these tokens, but the key is that we'll have a piece of the entire ecosystem in our treasury.
Yeah, I like that. It's really cool. And so 9% is going to go to burning system token 10%. That's the E280 token.
No, you got the billion Titanx buying HLX, whatever it buys, 10% of that HLX we burn right there. So we're going to be burning ecosystem tokens as well. So we're going to make all of the tokens on the ecosystem deflationary on top of what their tokenomics. Again, supporting the entire ecosystem. And then with the rest of that, the other 80%, that'll go on. It'll take that HLX and buy E280 on the market and then burn that E280.
I like that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, cool.
So
this is kind of a macro way of lifting the asset value because you're contributing to all the assets going up. And
there's going to be like 14 buy and burn buttons. So I think the community will have fun clicking all those burn buttons across the entire ecosystem. Now,
we've got low Gwei on Ethereum right now, like 1.2 Gwei, which, when it doubles the 2 Gwei, people think, oh, that's expensive. But they've forgotten about 5,000 Gwei.
Helios launched with 200 Gwei.
Yeah. Is it 200? Was it 200? Is the buy and burn
Yes.
affected by that, or is it dynamic in that sense in terms of
We've made the rewards dynamic, so if gas fees do go up, we can bump up the reward for people pressing that button.
Okay.
But even still, like we saw with HLX is it was probably a good solid 2 months where you were losing money pressing that button, but people still pressed it the entire 2 months. It was amazing to see. But we wanted to avoid that, so we made the incentive fee a variable, so we can bump it up when gas is high, knock it back down when gas is cheap.
All right. So that is the burn mechanism there. So there's going to be a minting phase, 28 days, potentially starting from the beginning of October. And you got the mint cost there. 1 Titan X equals 1 E280, so it's a 1-to-1. And E280 tokens minted are claimable after 48 hours from mint timestamp, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so there's a delay in your minting. We didn't want people to see a high ROI mint and immediately dump on the market. We're fine with people compounding, but adding that delay kind of helps the market adjust to it and work with it. So.
Okay. You got supply here. Cap once minting phase ends in 28 days. Inflationary supply from tokens burns forever. You got a buy and sell tax in the market. So do you want to explain this part here?
Yep. So during the mint phase, we expect a lot of activity going on. With any buy and burn, you see users that will, the second the buy and burn kicks in, you see people selling into it and taking profits, which is totally fine. But we decided to help benefit the diamond hand holders by having this increased percentage during the mint phase. So those people that are trying to compound their position, they're more than welcome to do that, but they're going to pay the 16% tax, where the majority of it's going to NFT holders. So if you mint an NFT and then start minting and selling, and or as people are minting and selling E280 tokens, you're earning a big chunk of that.
So I mean, with this, you're thinking about longevity for the longer term holders.
Right. And then once minting is over, there's no more compounding. You can't sell and mint more. So once that hits, then we'll drop it back down to the normal 4% tax.
So this tax is going to last for 28 days.
Yep.
And then after it's finished minting, this is the new tax regime there, 4%. So it's going to get NFT rewards. So if you're holding the NFT with the collection of assets in it, you're going to get extra rewards. Is going to top up those rewards.
Yeah.
The underlying value, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to go to the NFT specs, the next page, and kind of go over. So the NFTs, it's the same setup. It'll be 28 days minting, coinciding with the token. The NFT is available immediately, so you can earn rewards immediately when you mint this. But if you want to burn your NFT to claim the backing tokens, you have to wait 48 hours, just like if you were minting tokens.
It's a little bit like the Titan Legends and the Legend X token combination.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It helps give more value to the NFT, because instead of posting your NFT on OpenSea and waiting for somebody to come in and buy it, now there's immediate value because you can just burn your NFT, unlock all those tokens that are backing it, and now you're liquid and you can just take those to the market and sell them.
So just to explain to me quickly, what's the difference at the minting phase? You're going to have both the token and NFT up for grabs. That's essentially what's going to be. You can either choose both or mint one of them.
Yes, with ETH or Titan X. So you'll have any of those options on the front page.
Right. And in terms of the holdings of all those different tokens, what is the difference between the token and NFT? And essentially,
if you scroll down to the NFT tiers, It's basically going to be the same as minting the tokens. If you look at like the legendary mint cost is 10 billion, it's backed by 10 billion E280. So you're still getting that one for one price.
Now, first of all, I want to say I really love these namings and the categories. I really like this. This is people love this sort of stuff, so I think that's pretty cool. Hats off for that. But then you got quite different reward multipliers, and you've also got burns for some of these. So amped is burned. You got these burned with the amp version.
Yeah. So the mint cost and the backing stays the same. If you elect for the amped version, there's additional burn cost, and it doesn't increase your backing, but it increases your reward multiplier on those E280 tokens that people are paying in taxes. You're earning those tokens, so you can get a larger piece of that pool by doing that.
All right. So basically, when you get an NFT, and depending on which one you decide to, using Titan-X, you're going to get a 1-to-1 for E280. But then on top of that, you're going to get a reward related to that, which is also going to be an E280.
Yes, and if you notice as well, like 100 commons is exactly the same as 1 legendary or 10 rares. So the tiers, it's not giving you any better rates. It's really just for ease of the user. Like if you've got, you don't want to mint 200 commons if you don't have to. So or if you want to, you can.
You want $1 billion, you want 800 million. That's your budget. Then you can do that with commons.
Yeah. And then it's up to the user to decide how juicy do you think the rewards are going to be, because you're increasing your cost of minting the NFT, but you're not getting that increased backing. So it's up to the user to decide, well, am I going to get enough E280 tokens increase in rewards to cover that additional burn cost?
Yeah. You might want to need a spreadsheet then for that. Reward pools. So you got rewards down here. NFT holders will be able to claim E280 tokens. What do we got here? Example, you own a rare and a legend. You get 130x multiplier.
Yeah, so it's basically you add up all of the multipliers of all the NFTs you own, and then you add up the total reward multipliers of all the NFTs in existence, and then that's how you get your percent share of the pool.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
The
rule pool has 10,000 E2X in it, then you get 1%. Okay, that's pretty simple. Yep. Clear. NFT backing burn to claim. That's the cashing it in basically, and there's a tax on that. Yeah.
Yep. And again, the primary distribution of that is to NFT holders. So every time somebody burns their NFT to claim the backing tokens, first off, you're no longer eligible for rewards. Your NFT is burned; it's gone from existence. And then you're paying this 3% tax where primarily that's going to other NFT holders. So every time somebody else burns their NFT, you're getting a little bit bigger share of the reward pool, and you're getting additional tokens sent to that.
Yeah, that's very important to note. Yeah, okay. And the other thing is that one difference from the Titan Legends hybrid, first of all, they have the NFTs in existence or whatever. They did airdrops. So it's different from this project. But secondly, they had this penalty rent, right? 50% day one plus 3% for the tax. But you don't have that that early claim thing, because this is different. You don't have all the NFTs existing already with free airdrops. So
I mean, we have the mint, the increased tax percent during mint phase. So we do have that. But
all right. So, and then after mint, you have 1.8. So that's kind of in there. Yeah, kind of in there a little bit.
Yeah.
Why would somebody want to mint an NFT over tokens? For minting an NFT, a user will earn rewards for E280 token sales transactions. This means the user not only uses the NFT as a store of value for the E280 tokens that back the NFT, but also has the ability to increase the holdings of E280 tokens from the rewards, which is what you just said earlier, right?
Yeah, really the only downside to an NFT is that 3% burn tax. Whereas if you mint the tokens, you don't have that additional burn tax.
So you don't. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right.
So if you're trying to stay liquid, then you would want just the tokens. But
if you did the NFT burn at 3%, if you decide to sell the tokens, then you got the 4%, right?
Well, when you burn the NFT, you're paying 3%, and then if you want to sell those tokens, then you're paying that 4% as well.
So it goes back into the system, so those holding longer term benefit from accumulated value. Yeah. So this really does give a really strong, solid, medium long term offering for really benefits those that are willing to stay in for the game. And obviously, you've also got Titan-X arguably going up in value with the hyperdeflation. Obviously, so
right. That's where it really gets interesting too. With just you've seen how it works with the web of LPs. You've got arbitrage bots buying and selling. They're going to be paying these taxes and paying these NFT holders. But then we haven't seen this style of token done on an ecosystem like Titan-X, where you have all of the bonded liquidity. Think about if Titan-X goes up, every token in the ecosystem is going up.
Yeah.
Or you have
it's going to be pretty incredible. Yeah.
And there you have, Inferno goes up, that pushes Flux up. So we're going to have lots of leveraged plays within the ecosystem. I think there's going to be lots of price movement, which is good for a token like this style. When you have lots of volatility and ups and downs, I think you're going to see a decent amount of volume with it.
So these are the rewards. Rewards get filled with the E280s from two types: 4% from the buy sell transfer tax of E280 on the market, 3% tax burning NFT to claim E280 tokens back. NFT holders are eligible to claim their share of the rewards pool at any time. Could you illuminate a bit on that? So you hold your NFT, but there's going to be a claim button. Is that basically the idea?
Exactly. There's no staking or lockup required. Just the 48-hour cooldown. Anything you mint, you got to wait 48 hours if you want to, burn your NFT. But other than that, like you're welcome to collect rewards as much or as little as you want. You can sit there and let it.
Penalty. Any issue there? Obviously, you got the sell tax if you decide to sell anything.
But there's no like late claim penalties or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
let it ride.
Yeah, let it ride, baby. And that's on. And Titan distribution, we've kind of talked about that. That's where it's going to go. Now, the first 200 billion Titan-X is going to use to create an LP, so it's pretty normal. Distributed across all LPs with set percentages. And you reckon you got a feel for the number at the moment, like 14, did you say? Or you're not?
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Okay. After LPs, 100% goes to buy the ecosystem tokens, as per se there. And so there's all the different pairs or different tickers you're going to get. And then LP creation, of course, you got that. Talk about that.
Yeah, so the way we're going to build it is we'll distribute it with the same percent allocation as we have with the previous page. We'll take that Titan-X and then we'll split each buy into 10 buys. So like the HLX pool, we will make 10 purchases of HLX and then mint the E280 tokens to pair with it. And then
since the mint phase at the beginning of October, this will happen straight away. As you hit those minimum numbers there, 200 billion, you'll end up buying. Is that right?
Yeah, I expect to hit, or I really hope to hit at least 200 billion within the first day, and have the LP up and running, within the first 24 hours. And then the buy and burn.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
And then the buy and burn will be live as soon as all the LPs are live. So
yeah, okay. I can't. I think people have factored this into the buy side of the October chart there. All right. So one time mint 180 billion E280 tokens. LPP is created and burned. 6%, 12 billion Titan-X to send to the Genesis. At 4%, 8 billion Titan-X to send to the Helios treasury. So that's going to be really, really good for the Helios holders, which we talked about earlier. Buy and burn. We've briefly talked about that before.
I think the 90% burn, I think, is important to showcase, because
Yeah.
that's going to be a large buy and burn pool.
Yeah. So not only are you buying the tokens, but you're also burning a percentage of the tokens in existence for the other projects, and 80% buy and burn for the E280. So that's going to be pretty awesome as well. Yep. And the contracts obviously coming soon. It's going to be E280 token contract, the NFT contract, the rewards token contract, and the buy and burn. So there'll be 4 contracts there. And I guess it gets up to audits. How are the audits going there?
We've started the first one, and we've got we're working on lining up the second audit.
Okay. Very cool. And of course, you got socials, which I've posted in the chat there. I mean, you can see that. We've got obviously on X and Telegram. And I haven't posted the Telegram one, so we'll post that. But I did post the website there. So E280 and Telegram. Join up today, folks, if you want to get all the latest. Do that. Let me just jump back here. Bam. All right. Any other things before we get into some Q&A? If you,
yeah, just a big selling point to me on this is, again, like, it's going to be E280 is going to have liquidity with all of these tokens. So the same way that HLX is bonded with TitanX, and we see the price appreciation of TitanX, E280 is going to see the price appreciation of all 14 projects. So it's going to be really interesting, like, just seeing the volatility between each ecosystem and how E280 reacts to it, because it should ebb and flow with all it, basically like holding an average of all the tokens, which I think is very interesting.
Yeah, I think so. Are you gonna have a data site with a breakdown of asset performances inside of it? Or?
Oh, absolutely. Everybody loves stats. So
Right,
we'll have
more stats, folks. Yeah, we love the stats there. Very cool. Hey, that was a great overview. Let's see what Q&As we got in the chat there. Brennan says, I don't know if we got up to that. Element 280 is a great onboarding project. Absolutely. Good to see Refined in the house. Good to see you. And it's like an ETF, exchange traded fund. There, the TitanX. Let's have a look here. Let's jump through some of that. We've got Brian in the house. Hey, good to see you, Brian, and one of our community leaders. Big shout out to Brian. Let's see here. The TitanX debater there. Superman is the first YouTuber on the crypto. He gives everything and everybody a fair go. There's not tribal or maxi in anything that can't get past their noses or see something different. Yeah, that's pretty fair. Thank you so much for that. Trenton says, hey. Always good to see Trent in the house. What does he say here? I guess E280 could be like a fund that sells out the poor performers and adds the better or new ones. So are you going to pick winners or losers?
I say the entire ecosystem are winners.
Winner.
Like, because I think a lot of these ecosystems, like Flux is a good example of it's got auctions going on, or Blaze, they've got auctions. By us buying and burning their token, we're supporting them. We're helping the ROI on their mechanisms, and that's increasing usage on their platforms, which it's all tied together to help TitanX, which is helping Helios as well.
Yeah. Hey, look, I think honestly, I'm really excited about this. This is so great. Like I see it as one of the big 3 DeFi's coming in behind all those ROI protocols, along with Ouroboros for bank, lending, stablecoin, and of course Titan Farms for LP providing incentives. So I think this is one of those 3 critical pieces of the puzzle there to support all the ROI protocols. What else we got there? Wiki says, do you think there's a Goldilocks zone for the number of projects? Did you say 14 is the cap?
I say we're still early in TitanX, so I think all these projects that are out or coming out soon, I think they're all going to do very well. If you think like another year from now, how many other new projects are going to be out there?
Yeah.
I think these projects are already out. I think they're going to stay as core projects.
So in a year's time, I mean, there could be 100 projects in Element 280. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. I'm interested to see if old Jack Levin's gonna build something.
Well, that's right. I mean, he's been talking with Eric from DragonX. What's the chance of that? So apparently there's 118 to 119 elements in the periodic table. So we're going to have something similar for element 280. I guess that's the vision. Yeah. All right. 200 grey was what held people back from Helios, same really as it's very good. Did you find that? Is that obviously high grade does impact participation sometimes?
Oh, it definitely did. It was like $60 to start a miner at that time.
Right.
It was ridiculous.
Right.
So even myself, like I had the strategy of starting like 10 miners. And then when I saw the gas prices, I was like, well, let's just condense those to 3. You know, I used the same amount, but like I didn't, disperse my miners as much as I wanted to. But I think in the end, it just means we have a super low supply. And I think like what Element 280 is going to bring to the table is just going to make it even easier to buy and burn HLX.
Yeah, I really like that. Now we got Brennan says variable user burn reward is nice.
Yes.
Brennan says NFT reward will be juicy if you're super early to mint one. Well, actually, we just talked about the fact that in a year's time we could have 50, 100 projects in there potentially, right? So it's all going to scale value, right? And if you got an underlying hyper-deflationary tightness behind it, well, we'll see. I guess it also depends on where you think the bull market is and then the bear market starts or something as well. I guess there's a lot of variables there. Would it be possible to put a calculator on the site, says Wookie?
I'm not sure what kind of calculator you would need. The minting is 1 for 1. It doesn't, whether you're on day 28 or day 1 or day 28, it's all 1 for 1.
Because he's thinking of an ROI indicator there. So
sure, yeah, we'll definitely have an ROI. The USD value of the Titan X versus the USD value of E280 for sure. That'll be there.
Very cool. Rich Landon, by far holding the NFT is the value play. You want to earn LP fees paid to you in the E280.
Yep. I like the NFTs. I like it. I think the people that are minting the tokens are going to be those short-term players that just want quick returns, because I think any buy and burn attracts those people. So we're going to let them do that, and they can, mint and sell tokens all they want, but it's just, primarily going to feed all these NFT holders.
Yeah. Okay. We've got Brennan says, did you decide to have a buy tax and burn tax so other LP pools aren't created to route that pool?
Yeah. So one of the only feedback we got was from Jake, as far as we initially didn't have, we distinguished between buys and sells. And then after talking to him, we decided it made more sense to just have a blanket tax for buys, sells, transfers, because that way you don't have to manage LPs. Because if someone creates an LP with these tokens and we don't register it as an LP, then it wouldn't get taxed. So to get around that, we just made a blanket tax for everything, so that if somebody creates additional LPs, the tax will still apply to those LPs.
Okay. Let's have a look. Yes, that one is. Ben says, why not use Helios token to mint?
Oh, we want, this is the Titan X easy button. We don't want people that are just in Helios to be incentivized to participate. We want this. This is really the way this helps Helios is this is putting all of the ecosystem tokens in our treasury. We didn't want to limit participation by requiring our token. We feel like if you can bring ETH or Titan X to the table, I think we'll get way more participation in the protocol. And then with more participation means we're getting more tokens into our treasury anyways. So
yeah, I think it's a win across the board, right? Potentially new capital, new users, new tokens into the protocol. Yep, all makes sense there. Good question, though, Ben. Why didn't you send the Titan X to the Helios vault? Seems like a missed opportunity.
We are. That was a change that we made. Overwhelmingly, the community was against burning. So anytime we are going to burn Titan-X, we're instead going to send it to our treasury. So there's no Titan-X lost.
Mm-hmm. Wookie says, "Dude for president." We got Ben says, "Could the percentage allocation be correlated to each token market cap?"
I will definitely be looking at that. There's, like I said, there's that variable, and then also the amount of tokens built on top of tokens. Like, we'll take that into account as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Keanu says, "I concur. The dude is one of the smartest guys in crypto." There we go. That's another.
Thank you.
Accolade there. How many cats do you own, dude? Hear them on the streams most of the time. So,
I have two of them. They're brother and sister black cats, and I can't keep them off the screen.
A green screen cat. Oh, yeah, actually, I think I remember that now. Seeing cats, actually. What else there? I think that's it. So, is that Storm? No, it's not. Wookie, not Storm. All right, so that pretty looks like all our questions. Man, what an update! Honestly, Janus is fantastic for Pulsechain. People, honestly, if you like PDTC and Trope and stuff like that, you should definitely check that out. Get involved if you're happy with up your due diligence. But also this Element 280, this looks incredible, and I think the timing in October is perfect on the back of some of these juggernauts launching, with Hydra imminently launching, and also Flux coming, and Vault coming, Ouroboros coming. So I think a wave of DeFi moving in behind the ROI protocols is perfect timing.
It's like it's funny because we had the idea and we started building it, and then immediately like 4 more projects popped up, and we were like, this timing could not be even better, because it's overwhelming to some. Like if you're in Titan-X, it's not overwhelming. Like I think you can kind of keep up with all this stuff, but attracting new users, like the last X space we had with Plan A, that was one of the main things, was just like, as a new user, they weren't quite sure what is all this, what is the point, well, how does it all work, and I think that the main selling point is the rising tide lifts all boats, and E280 is going to be the perfect example of that.
And it's got that you got a long-term mindset in this project, right? So long-term value backing that hyper-deflation of Titan-X. I think it's beautiful with the mine burns and building up the treasuries and things like that for Helios and everything. So I think it's got a bit of everything, and it's so easy to onboard people, which I think is important. And I think we're going to see a lot of people that are in Titan-X that are really know-it-all, just going, well, I'll just take a piece of that cake too, right? So it's nice and simple. I'll just do that. So very, very exciting. We've got a couple final comments. Ben says, when Helios Ming token.
We have actually got a community member that was interested in doing something like that. So I think something like that could happen in the near future.
We got Straight Fire. This one says Sunsprite. And Brennan says, can dude speak on his relationship with Punky? We don't hear much from him, says Brennan.
I just kind of came across Punky with, I talked to a lot of the Titan-X founders, and I just kind of hit it off with Punky, and I like his Wonderland ecosystem, and so I've kind of, since we've added it to our treasury, like he did an airdrop for all of the Helios holders in that process. So anybody that was holding HLX has got Wonderland tokens over on Pulsechain. Go check it out.
Nice.
It just seems like a good dude. So, and like I said, I like what he's building. So we kind of just stay in contact and try to stay fresh with what he's building. He's got NFTs coming on. He's got a lot of stuff. He's in it. It's a single guy, but he's just all constantly building something. So.
Very good. What is it? We got there. That's the link there. If you want to find out more information on X, it's Element 280. Definitely give them a follow. Share it around, of course. Share the love. And got any questions, get into Telegram and so forth. We got Brandon says, thanks, dude, and super awesome stream. Yeah, fantastic stream. I hope that was
Thank you.
informative to everybody. I found it really informative, and I really appreciate having you on, dude. And of course, if you do another project or you do a launch, when you do launch, feel free to come back on here. I'd love to have you back on, and all the best for your project.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Hopefully I enjoyed that. Now I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes just doing a market update like I normally do for the daily. And so you're welcome to stay for that, dude. We've got Brian in here. Good stuff, dude. Absolutely. Everyone's coming in there. Nice one. All right. Let's go for gold. I'm going to have to pull up. Actually, I have to go back here because I have to pull up a different page. Let's put that down. Bam.
What are you going to go over Titan-X at all? Do you have any predictions?
I am, yeah. I'm going to be doing Titan-X on the end of this too, so stay tuned.
Awesome.
But it's going to be a bit faster than I normally do. That's all I'm going to say, because normally I do about an hour and 15, so we're up to an hour and 10 already, so I'll probably end up being about an hour and a half by the time we finish. All right, so we've got the stock market. We always do the stock market because of the linkages to crypto with the wealth effects and the sentiment of what's happening in the market, plus economic news. That's kind of where we cover it. So we're not ignorant to what's going on with the big players out there because they're coming into crypto, right, and manipulating markets and all sorts of things. So it looks like we've got the Dow hits a fresh record high ahead of the Fed meeting coming up. So we can kind of see the Dow Jones there up 0.5%. So that's got the top 30 industrials in it. So that's still doing very well in the cyclicals there. S&P 500 is up a little bit there too, 0.1%. 5,600. We've got the NASDAQ is down 0.5%, so it's got all the tech companies in it. And obviously, we've got big news coming up in November with NVIDIA AI chip there. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see that play out. So the NASDAQ there just pulling back a little bit after a really good week so far, right? This is Monday's results. Of course, last week we had a great week for the stock market. So we've got the Fed meeting coming up. Obviously, it's the big news. And it looks like, we're probably going to have a better chance of that. So some of the commentary here from Chief Economist Brad Case says the current situation is one in which the economic activity that was in too strong inflationary range is setting into the moderate range. So maybe we'll get 25 to 50 basis points. Let's quickly look at that. Actually, before we do that, let's quickly look at the commodities because if we do get a interest rate pivot in the US dollar devaluation, we could very much see a continued run in gold and silver, and silver's at $31. So target for that might be $75 to $125. So that'd be a major move on that. And gold is currently at 2,600, pushing all-time highs. So that's pretty cool there. We can see the oil around about $70 for that. But let's quickly check the Fed rate monitor and see what the chances are of 50 basis point cut. We've got 1 day and 16 hours to go until the September 18th. Now, this is probably the most important because we reached the terminal rate at 5.5% on the federal funds rate. And now we're looking at a potentially 25 to 50 basis point, what they call a pivot. And at the moment, it's looking very aggressive here. So we've got now flip. We've seen a flippening. Only a week ago, we were sitting at 70% of the market expecting 25 basis points. That is now flipped. And now we've got 66%, 2/3 of the market expecting a 50 basis point cut coming up. So this could be really bullish. Now, typically, historically, we see stock markets actually sell off after the interest rate news adjustment, and then it starts to pick up after that again. But we have had a little bit of we had 2 weeks ago, we had a bit of a pullback in the stock market, and we've had a rally last week. So we'll see where it heads and see what the correlation to crypto is going to be, because obviously we're pretty bullish about October leading into a Christmas rally, potentially 90K Bitcoin by the end of the year. So we do know September is volatile for crypto, and then we know that we're typically October is Uptober, and we typically get a very bullish October month, and likely to see that lead into Christmas too, especially if we get a Trump victory who's pro-crypto. That's kind of where we are at the moment. 50 basis point cut looking really good. So I think that's going to be generally really good for crypto. It makes money cheaper. And if we also see the Fed decide to do some money printing on the balance sheet, then both of those tools that it has could really lift the amount of money and the cost of money to move into stocks and crypto. So we'll see. Bitcoin there down 1.7% on the move, 55% dominance. So still holding that strong dominance. Bitcoin there. So not quite there in altcoin season full on yet. And of course, Ethereum there showing some weakness, down 1.5% as well. We've been down to $2,150. So still quite weak on the Ethereum there. Now, it's a bit of a victim of its own success with proto-dank sharding. Second layers have been eating its lunch in terms of, speculation and optimism, things like that, and Arbitrum and other chains. So that's got to be eating their lunch a little bit there. And we're pretty much across the board. Even after the Chang fork, ADA is down 2%. So miles away from the 70-cent target that people thought it might hit, and so on. So a bit of a mixed results. But this is September. We expect the volatility, and we've got it. So this is Bitcoin on the hourly. You can see we've just basically been shedding that off. And on the daily on Bitcoin, let's have a look at that. On the daily, we have avoided a death cross on the Bitcoin at the moment, but it's so close. Unless we really revert in the next couple of days with some pretty strong green candles, then maybe off the back of the interest rate pivot, maybe we'll get on crypto. Then we might just touch and move away here and avoid a death cross. And maybe even if we do get a death cross in September, maybe we can pull out of that somewhere in early mid-October before we get up to the US election. So it's going to be a bit of a wait and see. But you can definitely see on the daily here on Coinbase that we have had a bit of rollover with these lower highs here. But the bottom still managed to hold over 54K thereabouts. So fingers crossed. It's going to be a pretty important time just in this zone here as we come through this last 2 weeks of September. Let's jump over to Ethereum. Obviously, Ethereum there has been pretty weak as well, down to 2,261. Remember that on Pulsechain, the Magic Carp ride, 170,000 ETH was about $3,700, so it's well out of the money. So that part of the Magic Carp ride probably won't be starting till a bit later. So bring on Sun AG, right? Where's that $20 million? We could really do with that liquidity and boost liquidity about 30% on the old Pulsechain, probably 20% now, actually, after the recent rally. Now, Ethereum there as well. Obviously had the death cross back here in August. We've got a big gap here. We've just been weakening off on there as well. 2,269. Man, we're going to test that $2,150 again, because if we break that, well, you got 2,000 on the way there, and man, if we go sub 2,000 before we have a Christmas rally, let's see. But I'm actually pretty happy where Bitcoin is at the moment still. So I think we're probably not going to really crash down, but you never know. We could do a dip to 1,800 and then go for our rally after that, wash out a few weekends. That's pretty much it for crypto. Now let's get into Pulsechain. Obviously, day 493, I think it is, that just closed off. We got a price there, quadruple 0366, down 2.4% after our weekly rally we had. So it was down a bit yesterday, but before that we had a nice rally for about a week or 4 or 5 days at least. Pulsechain at the moment, quadruple 0187, down 2%. So not too bad amongst Pulsechain at this stage, unless some whale comes along and decides to take us down further. The buy and burn at the moment, 982.3 billion, 4.87% of all the public supply of Pulsex has been bought up and burned. Incentive token down 2.4%, $1.74. The ratio is still looking good though, 47,656. So pretty much it's just the Pulsechain price that's taken us down. The incentive ratio is still holding up pretty nicely in almost the middle of the range. We haven't had an update for supply for a couple of days yet, still showing 42 million. Hex, which has kind of led Pulsechain up, is down 7.65%. So you can get back in a bit of entry there, but it's still over half a penny, and that's really important that holds that line. And of course, EHEX there at 1,800 a penny, got up to 2,200 a penny the other day. So the combined price EHEX PX still under 7/10 of a penny, which is way better than it used to be because it was under half a penny, right? And so that's still holding up pretty well there for day 493. And that's pretty much it on that. Let's have a quick look at the gas prices. 725,000 beats, so quite high. You can see it's spiked here. So normally we would be between maybe 100 to 200,000. That's during this low price, when we find this low price in Pulsechain. We've got low transactions, low volume. But of course, when we've got something might be happening, who knows what, someone is doing something, and it spikes up there. 9/10 of a penny for Pulsex swap. That's kind of high. We're normally around 2/10 of a penny, so that's kind of up there. And of course, I guess just the way it goes with the increased spike volume. We've got 48,675 validators, 1.56 trillion staked on the validators here off the market. We're going to get some upgrades, right? So I don't know if you've seen David Feder's video. Well, worth checking out on YouTube. He's talked about some of the updates happening with Pulsechain and also with the validators there. So definitely check out his video out today. And of course, we just recently had stable swaps on Pulsex. So things are moving along with Pulsechain. It's doing pretty well. Now, the lifeblood, of course, is the bridge. How much money is coming over? We're sitting at 96.6 million. When we had the top of that rally just a couple of days ago, we were up at over 100 million there. So I think we're heading in the right direction, though. We were way down at the high 70s or something. So we are heading in the right direction. If we do get that AG Sun money, they said a couple of weeks was the update there from Hex Scout. Then that might put us back up there, maybe 110, 115 million. That would be pretty major. So we'll see. That's a question mark over that. But they've got a long-term play on Pulsechain with a big multinational like that, pretty much where they're heading in Europe. Then that could be a big deal for Pulsechain. So you just need some partnerships like that, and you get a whole ton of users coming in. So we shall see where that's going to head. So that's pretty much Pulsechain. We're going to move into our Titan X update now and get into that. I told you it was going to be quick. It was pretty quick.
Very informative, though. That was good.
Yeah. So let's get into the other one. We're going to go to Titan X and bring back the other sheet that we had. So I'm going to close some of those down. And bam, bam, bam. All right, let's go here. And share that screen. All right. So obviously we've been covering Titan X overlays. Let's just take that away for a minute. This is the daily on Titan X. So we're actually, still got that uptrend going pretty nicely. We're down the bottom here on the 4th. We're down at 60,1700, and now we've been climbing. We got pretty close to losing a zero, 8,270 with 6 zeros. So we're pretty close to losing one. And we just came down, bounced off 6,500, and now back up at 7,200. Obviously, Hydra is expected within an 80-hour window. That's a lot of that's gone through. The timing of that was pretty clever because obviously we had the two big candles coming out, 3.6 trillion and then 2.1 trillion coming out in a row. And of course, we've now gone through those 2 days. We're about an hour and 20 minutes past that. So we're back to low days again, or low being about half a trillion. So there we go. But we're down much lower, and that's kind of where we're at the price. And then, of course, we've got add our overlays back in. Hydra's up next, so we're expecting that launch. I don't know if it's out now, but because we've been talking, but that's imminent. And then, of course, after that, we've got the Vortex opening up, the new third buy and burn with the Vortex money from Hyper. And then we've got Flux coming out, which is going to benefit Inferno, right? Which is like Dragon X, is kind of like a store of value. That's the way I see it. It's two different ecosystems there. And then, of course, we're expecting Volt come out, and then, of course, Pulsar as well, potentially, although I haven't seen an update. Have you heard an update about that, dudes, about Pulsar at all? I know I got it here the second half of September.
They made an announcement. They it's kind of weird. They said we were giving a 5-day warning. It's been 5 days since that. Right. So at this point, they could launch. Same as Hydra, just at any point they could launch.
Okay, cool. All right, so that could be imminent there. And then, of course, Ouroboros, which is another big DeFi project coming in on these ROI protocols for borrowing and lending and stablecoin. And I think that's going to be huge for the ecosystem. And, of course, along with Titan X Farms in October. And, of course, we've just gone through Element 280, which is also that third DeFi project, which I think is going to be amazing. And of course, Felix there as well, somewhere as well. So that's kind of the September, early October, or first half of October protocols. And of course, Volt's expecting to launch Viper in October as well as their second phase. And then, of course, we got this little, you talk about Baby Dragon X, we got a little scale project coming, which I think is a cool name, coming in potentially before 369, but that's a still question mark whether they'll make that deadline. At the moment. So that's kind of cool for September, October, but you can see September is pretty damn awesome. Obviously we got all these projects coming, but we also got the 369, the Vortex payment there. We got the Hyper 96-day payout. So last time I checked, that was about 75 billion Hyper. That's really the only inflation over the next like 20 so days. So yeah, that's the only in the market. Last time I checked, Hyper was sitting at about 1 trillion and 50 billion. So pretty low supply relatively. And then we've also got the Blaze ETH payout. Now this is also a bullish. So we've got Element 280 being potentially a big bullish buy side in October. We've also got Blaze 88-day payout as well. and that's a pretty significant payout. So that could be pretty interesting on the buy side. Yeah, so we've got supply sinks, buy sides. It's looking super bullish, and maybe I mean potentially around the turn of the month, either just before, or just after, we will get into the hyperdeflationary phase, or at least peak inflation for the Titanex, which would be pretty exciting coming up. So man, this thing is about to really take off. Hydra's going to play a big role in the speed of that happening, but it's pretty bullish about where Hydra might go with 10-15 trillion. Could be who knows where, but that's kind of a target a lot of people are talking about. So right, so that is kind of it on that. Let's quickly go to the rest of the charts, and that's a rollout. But let's have a look at the maps at the moment. So Inferno Titanex, number one performer in the last 24 hours, up 20%, and that's doing pretty well. Back to where it was, actually had an incredibly violent finish after the Inferno there. So you can see this big wick here after the Inferno closed off for cycle 8, and of course it had an incredible result there, 1.75, 1.75 trillion Titanex went through that. That is a really fantastic result. Yeah, but then it had a violent day there. I don't know who was exiting, but someone exited. You can see this big candle down here went all the way down to a low of 609,300. So pretty crazy stuff. It's back up at 501710, which is kind of where it was. It's been back twice, so it got up to 1850 or something, and of course previously it had been up to 2000 there. So it's moving around, but it managed to recover, and that's a strong sign. And of course we know that Flux is coming, right? Flux is coming to be built on Inferno. They've talked about 6 to 8 projects coming, 3 of them already well in development, and Flux about to launch. So and that's coming up in a couple of days, really, after Inferno. So sorry, after Hydra. So it's going to be pretty cool. DragonX there up 8%. So you can see the 2 store of value tokens actually taking the lead at the moment. Now, obviously, this moves around a little bit from day to day and things. But at the moment, these two are getting a lot of love here as the store of value, and that's up 8% as well on the day. Let's have a quick look at DragonX. Looking pretty good there. I mean, bounced off 7,200 with 5 zeros, and now is back at 9,264. OMG, we say OMG. It's always good when you're about to lose a zero. It's going to have another attempt. We already had pretty much 2 attempts there to try and lose a zero there, and we actually lost that twice. We got up to 1153 with 4 zeros. We did that on the 9th again. We got up to 1177 with 4 zeros. So once you start getting to 4 zeros, bring on 3 zeros and so on. It's pretty exciting to go through the zeros. And here we are. We have another go here with Hydra coming up. So obviously DragonX is going to be a major beneficiary of Hydra. So yeah, let's see where that goes over time. At the moment, the ratio back at 12.9 Titanex to one DragonX. And of course, this is a key measure that you should be looking at with second layer protocols on top of Titanex, is the ratio that they have and how the market is valuing those. Now, obviously, there's 5.4 trillion DragonX tokens, and of course, it's going to benefit from the staking. The Titanex is going through Hydra through staking, and which is 20%, and also the 20% of DragonX is going to be burned as well. So if we get trillions and trillions and trillions, maybe 10 to 15 trillion within a short space of time, that's going to have a faster impact potentially on the DragonX here as well. And most of that Titanex will come from non-DragonX holders, right? Because there's only so much DragonX in the pool. You can see there's 40 billion in at the moment. Titanex is 450 billion Titanex in the pool. But we're sitting on a load of Titanex at the moment. So let's have a quick look at the Titanex supply. Remember, Titanex is basically like the medium of exchange in the ecosystem. It is 70 trillion there sitting there right now. So where will peak inflation be? It's going to be fun. We're going to find out, I guess, in the next few weeks. That's going to be really fun to find out. Now,
that's a lot of tokens.
It is a lot of tokens. It is a lot of tokens. So that's what I'm saying. We get 10 to 15 trillion. Maybe we get 20 trillion through Hydra. Who knows? That will definitely make a major hit on the supply there. But it is a lot of tokens. People believe in the system because they're holding them, right? Yeah. So this is the thing. We've seen that since the 280, day 280, haven't we, dude?
That was amazing to see.
Yeah.
We all expected a dump, and there wasn't one. There's
some major buying came in that day too. Yeah. So we got through, I think, pretty well through the last 5.7 trillion that just came out the last 2 days, which is pretty cool. So yeah, what are we going to see? How far that's going to go down to 45? Who knows? How far is that going to go down with these protocols launching this month, and of course next month? It's going to be pretty awesome. And of course, let's have a look here. So actually, before we do that, let's quickly look at the future inflation chart. And let's scroll back up here. So future inflation, let's just make that a bit bigger. And let's go to the 90-day. So this is the 90-day. We have got rid of this blue line here. This is the last 2 trillion candle. That is gone. We had to go through 3 of these 2 trillion candles this month, and we got rid of them all now. So now we've got 70 trillion next sitting on the balance. But we've dropped down to this new day, so we're at 560 today. That's what we've got coming out today. We're going to have that, for 5 days in a row. We've even got a low 286 day coming up on the 20th September. And then it's not too bad. And then, of course, we've got the last of the trillion candles here. We've got 5 of them at the end of September. We've got 2 of them at the beginning of October there. October the 5th is the magic day, and down it goes. So what you're going to see with this chart over time is that the scale that we've got in over here at the moment keeps going down, right? It keeps going down. So by the time we get to the what's the scale here? By the time we get to the 18th of October, we're going to have 500 is going to move up to the top there. It's going to be the top of the range. And of course, as you go lower here, by the time we get to the 15th of November, the actual index is going to have 250 on the top there. So it's going to be fun to see that play out too. And it's all going to happen within weeks of us, covering this at the moment, which is going to be pretty awesome. So take that 70 trillion, add in some of this, and of course, then we've got to deduct it with all those projects and the 3 buy and burns operating, right? And of course, buyers, like Element 280 and things like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So that is kind of the supply and demand side there. We've covered the project roadmaps as well. Let me just go back out of here. So that's DragonX looking like a boss right now. Oh, we're going too far there. And we got Baby DragonX number 3 up 3.7%. JakeX, the meme coin, up 3%. Blaze at the moment is up 1.7%. And like we talked about Blaze, let's just quickly go there because they've got Ethereum going in here, right? So we talked about Element 280. One of the options is using Ethereum. Well, here with this ROI protocol, they've taken Ethereum there, and you can see the ROI at the moment currently 54%. Let's go to the stakers though, and go to the rewards. Actually, rewards here. We can see that they've got the 88-day payout coming out, and like I said, that's just coming out in a couple of days' time. That's $197, almost $198,000 worth of Ethereum. 87 ETH coming out there, those payouts. So it's going to be interesting to see where that money goes in the system.
I was going to say, how many people buy Titan X with that?
Yeah. So there we go, folks. There's some more buying power coming in there, which is cool to point out. So looking pretty good. What else we got there? Titan X at the moment, pretty much flat at the moment, but looking pretty strong at 7,200. And of course, when Hydra opens up, there's always going to be part of the market. It's going to have to buy Titan X. There'll be part of the market that goes into hyper, right, to leverage play on Titan X. And then, of course, there's people already holding Titan X that are going to go in there. And then maybe a bit of ratio trading out of some of the peers possibly into Hydra. So we'll see how that all plays out in the wash there. Legend X, of course, we're going to be covering that in 2 days' time. We've got the founder, Rudy. He's going to be coming on the live stream in 2 days. And so we're going to have another one there. So keep track of that. That's already set up on the schedule here on the YouTube. So we'll be covering Legend X. And it's going to be fun. We're going to get into all that, the NFTs.
We've been in talks with him as well as far as listing E280 NFTs on his marketplace. I think he's adding DragonX as well.
Yeah, DragonX. So. Yeah. That's awesome. So you can see these connections between the developers. I love this theme that's happening as part of the Titan X ecosystem that Jake Show and Envisage is all playing out. And you guys, just a whole ton of amazing developers and founders making it all, realizing the dream, I would say, along with the rest of the community, obviously participating. Pretty exciting. Now, Hyper, of course, ticking away. That's down 4% at the moment, but as you see, the chart's holding it pretty well And of course, it's been super successful, right? So let's quickly go to Hyper because it's sitting at number 3 on the list in terms of burn. Let's quickly go have a look at how that's performing. It's performing like a boss, to be honest, up 290% on the ROI. That's really, really important. And the buy and burn there are well over, we're almost up to 1100 ETH. I mean, this has been mind blowing. We watched this when it was under an 800 ETH, and here we are at $2.5 million of buy ETH there. So it buys Titan with ETH. They're looking pretty awesome. The Vortex, of course, is opening up on the 19th. It's in about 2-3 days, and that's already sitting at 388 ETH. It'll be slightly higher by the time we get there, and that's almost 900K on ETH. And obviously, if we get a 10-12% rise in price, that will hit $1 million as well. And of course, the Hyper buy and burn just ticking away there, 720K, a trillion Titan X there at the moment. With the total Hyper stats there is going down all the time. It's sitting at 1,041 billion there. And of course, the only next inflation we're expecting is the payout. I believe not payout. Yeah, the payout here. 77.5 billion Hyper. So that's not a lot in the context of over 1 trillion Hyper. And then of course the next candle coming out after that from the miners. So this is the stakers payout, but the miners payout. The next big candle is about 92 billion. That's coming out on the 8th of October. So that's the next inflation. Otherwise, there's not a lot of inflation coming out besides those two big events until after the 30th of October, which is when the Titan X 369 payout comes out, which is going to be absolutely awesome. Let's quickly check that because we love to look at that number. This is on the 30th of October, obviously a major event, and the staker payout at the moment is sitting at 2,500 Ethereum on the 30th of October, and that's just under $5.7 million at the moment. Obviously going to move around a lot with the Ethereum price there. But if October is bullish, October, then who knows what that value will be by the time we get to it. And of course, we've got all these protocols launching before them, maybe up to 8 projects at least. And of course, Hydra is going to anchor that stuff moving forward. So Hyper looking really, really good. Obviously, that's also going to play a big deal on the miner of Titan X. At the moment, negative 38%. But man, we get up to lose a zero and get to 1100. I think that gets us to break even. And then above that, we start getting a positive ROI. And then we get ETH mining. This could be in October and maybe even late September, possibly. It just depends on Hydra and a few of the other protocols. But man, this would be legit. And of course, that would start feeding the payouts. The payouts would start filling up again for the 8th day, the 28th day, and the 9th day. And then we'd also get the buy and burn starts filling up again too. It's down to 685 ETH there at the moment, still $1.5 million in there. And of course, that's enough to run us through to the end of October by my last calculation. So a lot of cool stuff happening in this ecosystem, as you guys can see. And with amazing developers like the dude, I think we're looking pretty good. So I think that's a great place to finish. All right.
Sounds good.
That sounds good. We've got a couple more comments. We'll wrap up the show today. It's been a mega show, and we've had some cool comments in the chat there. So let's just jump through some of these. Let's scroll back up here. And we covered that one there. We've got Trent says you guys are killing it. A nice one there, Trent. Let's see here. Is it that possible to go faster, Super? I don't know. I can go pretty fast sometimes, but I got to keep pace on it. Got to keep pace. Trent says super stoked with the Titan X ecosystem is going. Absolutely, Trent. Absolutely. What else there? Jump through some of those. Brendan says, come on, ETH pump. Yeah, I mean, this is with ETH coming down. Imagine ETH going on the upside, right? So it really is crazy. And the other thing is that, success of Titan X ecosystem moving into hyper deflationary. I mean, this is going to help make Ethereum successful. We just talked about a lot of activity going over the second layer chains. It's sort of a victim of its own success to some degree. The Titan X could be, people look back at the bull market and go, well, Titan X made Ethereum great. So it really is looking that way at this stage. And of course, we could start dominating the DEX screener top 10, right, with multiple projects. We just keep adding one into another, and before they see top 10s, just Titan X projects. It's bar the occasional, a speculative token that pops up there. We got DeFi in the Kingdom says, hello everyone, good to see you, DeFi. Congratulations, dude. The new look of Helios. Nice one. Brennan says no Hydra's launched since stream. Yeah. You never know. You never know, Brennan. Never know. Hey, we got through the 2 big candles though. We got through those, so there we go. Hey, dude, Element 280 will impact Helios a lot. What's your opinion on that? Well, we just spent about an hour talking about that, so you can go back and watch that. What else have we got there? I think that's it. What number does dude think may go into Hydra? Yeah, that's a good question. Just to wrap it up there.
A few trillion.
Yeah, there we are. A few trillion sounds pretty good to me. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. A big super thanks to the dude. Really appreciate it. I love, if you haven't seen the dude on some of the other YouTube videos, go check him out. He's amazing. Just one of the top commentators in the whole ecosystem. And not only that, but doing really leading some of the development work in the Titanese ecosystem. So a big thank you, dude. Until next time, I'll catch you then.
All right. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
See ya.